Peace and love, everybody out there. It's that time of the year again. The holiday season is upon us. So y'all know every year we got to destroy and expose these pagan holidays. And first in line is Halloween, the dark Celtic Druids holiday. Before we get started, let's recite this chapter from the Quran, Surah 113, Falak, the daybreak. This verse is a protection prayer from witches, evil, and darkness. Bismillahi ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Ku a'udhu bi rabbil falak min shari makalak wa min shari ghasiqin idha waqab wa min shari nathifati fil uqad wa min shari hasidin idha hasad. Say, I seek refuge in the Lord of the daybreak from the evil of whatever he has created, and from the evil of the night when it grows dark, and from the evil of those witches casting spells by blowing unto knots, and from the evil of an envier when they envy. We know witches exist. The Creator warns us about them in the Torah and Quran. We know evil exists. The Almighty Lord created good and evil. Isaiah 45:7 says, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all of these things. Even though he created evil, he orders us to do good only and follow the path of righteousness. Halloween is known as the witches' Sabbath. This is their number one holiday of the year dedicated to Satan, Samhain, the Lord of Darkness. You see, the Jews have Passover, Christians have Easter, Muslims have Ramadan, and witches have Halloween. There are millions of people around the world that practice witchcraft, Wiccan, and sorcery. They just are not open about it. Let's read this article. Number of witches rise dramatically across U.S. as millennials reject Christianity. Witchcraft and pagan religious practices increased in the U.S. over the past few decades, with millennials turning to alternatives ranging from astrology and tarot cards and away from Christianity and traditionally dominant Abrahamic religions. The number of witches and Americans practicing wicked religious rituals increased dramatically since the 1990s, with several recent studies indicating there may be at least 1.5 million witches across the country. A Trinity College study conducted in 1990 estimated only about 8,000 Wiccans in the U.S., but the increase has been led by a rejection of mainstream Christianity among young Americans as well as a rise in occultism. As we just read, in 1990, there was about 8,000 witches. Now, 30 years later, there's about 1.5 million witches. That's 1.5 million witches all over the country casting spells and summoning up demonic spirits and passing out cursed candy that they whisper spells over. That's what happens when you send your children out to celebrate witchcraft every year. Some of your children, they fall in love with that spirit of Satan, especially women. Women love witchcraft. They got that blood of Eve flowing through them. Curiosity to have the power of God, listening to the whispers of Satan, the serpent. During Halloween, witches get to be themselves. They get to openly glorify death, devils, evil spirits, murder, blood, gore. And most people won't know because they think it's just a costume and decorations, when in reality, those are not costumes. That's their religious outfit. That's their religious decorations. They are fulfilling their need to have their demon time energy enter their bodies. And they want to openly release their inner evil on October 31st and make it fun and acceptable and cartoonish. Yeah, children love cartoons, so now they made Halloween cartoonish to captivate and lure their minds so they could look at skeletons and ghosts, vampires, and monsters as friendly cartoon make-believe characters. Magic began in ancient Babylon. The Creator sent down two angels, Harut and Marut, to the ancient city of Babylon to show them magic and inform them of the existence of invisible creatures living amongst them called devils. Magic was a test for mankind. The two angels warned these people, do not practice magic, for this is a test from your Lord. The devils will eavesdrop and learn magic from the angels, and then the devils will turn around and teach that magic to the people in the form of black magic or sorcery. Let's read the Quran, Surah 2, Ayah 102. They instead followed the magic promoted by the devils during the reign of Solomon. Never did Solomon disbelieve, rather the devils disbelieve. They, the devils, devils taught magic to the people, along with what had been revealed to the two angels, Harut and Marut, in Babylon. The two angels never taught anyone without saying, "We are only a test for you, so do not abandon your faith." Yet, people learned magic that caused a rift even between husband and wife, although their magic could not harm anyone except by Allah's will. They learned what harmed them and what did not benefit them, although they already knew that whoever buys into magic will have no share in the hereafter. Miserable indeed was the price for which they sold their souls, if only they knew. During Harut and Marut's teaching of magic, Babylon became a city filled with magicians, wizards, warlocks, sorcerers, and astrologers. Their society was a society of magic and enchantments. People all over the region would travel to Babylon to learn magic. Then Babylon was destroyed because it became a corrupt, evil city that turned their back on the Creator. The people who survived and fled Babylon, they went back to their own countries. The few people who still knew magic will practice it in secrecy so they won't be persecuted and killed. Many years later, the Creator gave King Solomon, peace be upon him, authority to rule over the devils, and they were subservient to him. Solomon had confiscated books of magic and kept them under his possession. When Solomon died, the devil showed man where these books were buried, and some of the Jews will reject their own holy scriptures and instead learn and practice the sorcery in these books. Over hundreds of years later, the knowledge of magic traveled to Britain, to the Celtic people. Britain is ground zero for all the wickedness and evil of earth. This is where the evil English colonizers rose up from. That's why the British, they love Harry Potter and all the magic and sorcery. It's their culture, their DNA. Men called the Druids practiced magic and worship many pagan gods and spirits. Druids were pagan priests who had authority over the people. Druids were the precursor to what we call witches and warlock. A warlock is a male witch. Druids worship many jinns, whom they call immortal gods, but the chief one they worship was Satan. In the Celtic language Gaelic, they call him Samhain. The Druids communicating with Satan, aka Samhain, by casting spells and doing rituals and sacrifices on top of altars, such as the famous Stonehenge. Stonehenge is a giant witch altar where the Druids practice dark, evil, murderous blood sacrifices. And through communication with Satan, Druids attained the knowledge that at the end of October at sunset, it was the demon realm holiday. You see, the interdimensional demons and jinns have their holidays in their dimension, and the humans, we have our holidays. Shaitan informed these Druids that on the last day of October at sunset is the devil world's holiday, and that's the day the veil between the jinn world and the physical human world was at its thinnest, and a portal opened up, allowing devilish jinns to roam the earth in great numbers. So much so that they are stampeding over each other and squishing each other. That's how much unclean spirits are roaming the earth when the nights fall on Halloween. Satan, aka Samhain, was called the Lord of Darkness by the Druids. Samhain means summer's end. It is believed that Halloween is actually the day Satan was created or the day Satan fell from heaven. Who knows? Only the Most High knows. Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, warned his people and said, "When the wings of the night spread or when evening comes, keep your children in, for the devils come out at that time. Then, when part of the night has passed, let them go and close the doors and mention the name of Allah, for the shaitan does not open the closed door." In other narrations, he said, "Tie up your water skins, cover your vessels, and mention the name of Allah, and extinguish your lamps." Today, people do the exact opposite at sunset on Halloween. Their children is out at sunset with their vessels wide open, accepting treats in the name of Samhain. And people don't extinguish their lamps. They actually light up their jack-o'-lanterns. Every year, the Druids would do these rituals and cast magic to communicate with demons. And every year, the demons would instruct them to do blood sacrifices and burnt offerings of human children. Every year, during the end of October, Druids would go to the people around town, going from house to house to gather offerings for the coming of Samhain, summer's end, when the darkness overcomes the light. And the Celtic people gave the Druids food and treats and some of their crops from their harvest harvest, and other valuable items. The Celtics believed that they had to appease the demonic spirits that roam Earth on Halloween so that they won't be possessed or struck with misfortune, especially with the harsh, dark winter coming where many people died and froze to death because they didn't have electricity, gas, or heaters back then. And if they were poor and had nothing to offer, the Druids would take an animal, a cow, a lamb, a goat, and even their children. The Druids would gather these children from all over town and animals and the criminals that they had locked up in prisons, and they would stuff them inside a giant cage made of sticks that's in the shape of a man called a wicker cage. Then they would set this wicker cage on fire as dedication to Shaitan, dedication to Molech, dedication to Baal, all the same entity. The Druids and Celtic townspeople would gather around this cage and dance and praise Samhain, feeling his fiery energy radiating off the flames of fire. And they would dance around the fire throughout the night and pray for the dead, and parents would say goodbye to their children. In the morning time, the only thing left was ashes and bones. This is where the bonfire ritual comes from today, that many families and children partake in and enjoy. When people do these bonfires, because the only thing left over is bones, aka bonfires, they are unknowingly paying homage to this evil pagan tradition dedicated to Satan, sacrificing their children to pass through the fire of Moloch. The Druids got this bonfire concept from the ancient Ammonites and Canaanites, who would sacrifice their children to a giant furnace in the shape of a bull called Moloch or Baal. Leviticus 18:21 says, "And you shall not let any of your seed, your children, pass through the fire to Molech. Neither shall you profane the name of thy God. I am the Lord." Parents sacrificing their children to the fire of Molech was a big thing in ancient times, so much so that the Creator had to outlaw that vile practice in his Torah. Imagine living in a society where witchcraft and blood sacrifices of children was normal, promoted, and accepted. Imagine every year you wonder if this is the year you have to send your child into the fire to burn for Molech. Today, modern witches study the Druids and their practices and base their own wicked religion off the Druids. Druids are the source of witchcraft and sorcery. In medieval times and even still today, witches will sacrifice children and animals and burn them and draw blood, especially the elite Illuminati witches and Freemason Grandmaster wizards. They love children. Children give off more fear energy. When a child is scared, their glands pumps out a chemical into their blood called adrenochrome. And when you make a person become filled with fear by using torture and pain, their blood is full of adrenochrome. And when you drink this adrenochrome-filled blood, it gives a sense of euphoria. It's a high. It is one of the most potent drugs known, and it is very, very addictive. This is why the rich elite of the world and the highly rare celebrities, they love partaking in kidnapping the children, having them on an island or a mansion and drinking their blood after torturing them. But back to Halloween, all month long, during October, they push fear, spook, horror, haunts, building up this demonic low vibrational energy. The demons also feed off fear energy. Haunt means for a demon or a ghost to possess a place. Demons love to possess, and people are obsessed with visiting haunted houses every October. Satan loves when people give their fear energy to him. Satan and his legion of demons, they feed off the energy of fear because we are supposed to fear God Almighty. We don't take a month off to give our fear to the face of darkness, the face of hellfire, the face of Shaitan. We are supposed to stand strong and forbid evil and not partake in it, period.
Period. Period.
Period. Quit being weak. Quit being soft and act like you can't resist being a demon. Only a soft nigga take part in demon time. Let's be real, because real men of the Lord, we don't do stuff like that. Real soldiers of God, we don't move like that. We ain't missing out on absolutely nothing. These niggas is fried, and we gotta have the opposite mentality of these fried ass niggas and these fried females. It's time to stop being fried before your ass fried in a pit of fire on Judgment Day. Halloween is a day that Samhain, Satan, he rises up to lure souls to bring them into the hellfire with him on the day of judgment. On the day of judgment, Shaitan will snitch on all you niggas that follow after his way and gave into his whispers and temptations. He wants to see all of us enter the hellfire because he knows he's going there to burn with you. In the Quran, Surah 35:6 says, "Surely, Shaitan is an enemy to you, so take him as an enemy. He only invites his followers to become inmates of the blaze." Satan is giving you an invitation to his party so you could become inmates of the blazing hellfire. He is your enemy. He isn't your buddy, your pal. He isn't there to dance the night away with you and y'all hold hands while y'all eating candy, having a good old time. His assignment is to get you to follow him right into the blazing lake of fire. Quran, Surah 24:21 says, "O believers, do not follow the footsteps of Shaitan. Whoever follows Shaitan's footsteps, then let them know that he surely bids all to immorality and wickedness. Had it not been for Allah's grace and mercy upon you, none of you would have ever been purified. But Allah purifies whoever he wills, and Allah is all-hearing, all-knowing." All month long, these witches and warlocks promotes fear, spook, horror, fright, scary energy. So at the end of October, on the last night when the demons roam Earth, when that portal is open at sunset, they could feast on the energy of fear of whoever is outside. And guess who is outside at sunset during Halloween? Children, our youth, our women. These witches cast a spell on the minds of parents to allow their children to go outside on this evil day to be fed off of demons. And when their kids grow up, their kids repeat the same spell to their kids. Little kids go to house and they are scared of the decorations that shows death, the ghosts and the skeletons and monsters and the witches and the spider webs and zombies. All manners of evil, forcing kids to radiate with fear for Satan to feed off on. When you go trick-or-treating, you are doing a ritual, paying homage to the druids who collected offerings for Samhain, the Lord of Darkness, Satan. And today, kids collect candy. Candy contains sugar. When a person consumes sugar, it lowers their frequency. Like alcohol and drugs, it opens up a portal when your frequency is lower. When you are operating on a low frequency, then your vibration isn't vibrating fast enough or high enough to generate an invisible force field that helps repel demonic spirits. Good energy repels dark energy. Spirits are made of energy. If your own personal force field is not generating energy, then it allows a demon to enter your body easy. When a person gets drunk, their shield is gone, and it allows a demon to hop into their body and control their body, and they wake up the next day and they don't know what happened because they were in a sunken place while a demon had control of their body, causing them to do something stupid like drive a car and crash or have sex with a random person, because demons are sex demons also. But back to trick-or-treating. You have children outside with demons leech onto them, and they follow them back home when they are done trick-or-treating, bringing those demons into the house with them. Now your kids is having nightmares. They see shadow figures out the corner of their eye. They are scared of the dark. They see a demon monster living in their closet. They have perverted thoughts being whispered into their minds by these demonic spirits. They have demons whispering seeds of evil into their hearts to reject God and to grow up and become a witch, atheist, a goon, a goblin, to be on demon time. They suffer from sleep paralysis when they got a succubus witch demon holding them down while they are asleep and they cannot move or scream. Adults too. Every year, demons are looking for a home on Halloween, and your kids bring them home. And as they grow up, they become more demonic-like. They start taking drugs. They start becoming sex demons, fornicating, watching porn, being promiscuous, dressing half naked. They take on the murder, kill, shoot 'em up spirit. Each kid deals with a different demon. That's why every generation is becoming more and more worse, because every year they are under the same witch spell. Every October they are fed murder, kill, gore, blood, death, evil spirit worship, haunted energy. People walk around with strange apparel, costumes, and they wear makeup to look like their body is mutilated, and they wear blood all over their face and cuts and stab wounds. In Zephaniah 1:8 it says, "And it shall come to pass in the day of the Lord's sacrifice that I will punish the princes and the king's children, and all such as are clothed with strange apparel." Halloween costumes is strange apparel. This society has become a society that loves evil, blood, murder, death. The Illuminati wizards of Hollywood, they keep making these movies about serial killers and monsters and jinns and ghosts every Halloween. Paranormal Activity, Jason, Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, It. possessed dolls, all these evil demonic movies that's planting seeds in the minds of people. People crave to go to haunted houses to be scared. Real life haunted houses means that it's demons that live there. Demons possess that house. Today, people call them a ghost. A ghost is a jinn. Jinns love to move into abandoned buildings and abandoned homes and graveyards. A house that has spider webs everywhere, it represents that it's an abandoned house because there's nobody there to break up or remove the spider webs. Jinns love dirty and dusty environments. When they see spider webs, then they know no humans live there, so they can move in with their families. And when humans do eventually go into these haunted buildings, the jinns become angry and try to scare them away. This is where we get the haunted houses term from. You are entering a jinn's residence and it's trying to get you out by moving stuff and making noises and trying to appear to you. So this is why people decorate their homes with spider webs, to mimic a jinn's residence, a demon's residence. When you put spider web decorations up, you are letting people know that this is an evil demon house that loves Halloween, that loves to partake in Satan's festivities of death, darkness, and evil spirits and witchcraft. Everything about Halloween is evil. The jack-o'-lantern represents a piece of hellfire given by Satan. Jack-o'-lantern comes from an old Irish myth where a man named Stingy Jack, who was given a piece of coal from hell by Satan to use as a light as he wandered as a spirit forever, because Satan did not want him in hellfire and he couldn't go to heaven, so he had to roam earth forever as a lost soul. Jack placed his piece of hellfire inside a carved out turnip. Today in America, people pay homage by using a pumpkin instead of a turnip. Even though it's just a story, it still represents a story from hellfire and a story that has to do with Satan. Jack-o'-lanterns are the face of evil, the face of hellfire. And Babylon, America loves these jack-o'-lanterns. They call it cool, it's creative, it's just festivities, it's just a tradition. But it originates with evil. It's casting a spell whether you know it or not. It's attracting evil spirits on Halloween. It represents evil. Black cats, people think black cats are evil. So witches, they love black cats because they represent evil and darkness. So when you see people use black cat decorations, they are representing evil and darkness. Even though there is nothing wrong with black cats, it's the fact that witches prefer black cats because of the color of darkness. And witches, they love to conjure up familiar spirits, meaning allowing a demon to inhabit a black cat. Familiar spirit, a demon supposedly attending and obeying a witch, often said to assume the form of an animal. And witches love black cats to be the host for their familiar spirit. Now that we explain Halloween's evil satanic customs, let's read scripture. Let's start with the Torah, which is the book given to prophet Moses, peace be upon him, after he led the children of Israel out of the harsh slavery of Egypt. The Creator was going to give the children of Israel their own land, and before he did so, Moses went up to Mount Sinai for 40 days and 40 nights to receive and learn the Torah from the Creator, so Moses could teach the Torah to the children of Israel so they know how to govern their new land given to them from God himself. In the book of Deuteronomy 18:9, one of the laws strictly forbids sorcery and wicked custom. It states, "When you come into the land which the Lord your God is giving you, you shall not learn to follow the abominations of those nations." God is telling them, do not follow the abominations, these sick, twisted, disgusting, hated customs of these other nations. So for us black folks, we shouldn't follow the customs of the Celtic people. We are not Celtics. We are not British, Scottish, or Irish people. We shouldn't learn from their customs and abominations. We are supposed to stay the hell away from their evil culture. Let's continue reading. "There shall not be found among you anyone who makes his son or his daughter pass through the fire." Again, we covered the Molech Baal fire sacrifice already. We are not supposed to be mimicking bonfires and visiting bonfires, having a good time, dancing, drinking beer, eating s'mores, soaking in the fire of Molech. Let's continue. "Or one who practices witchcraft or divination, or an observer of times." Halloween is all about witchcraft and divination. Divination is the practice of seeking knowledge of the future or the unknown by supernatural means. Druids are the forefathers of witches. Halloween was started by Druids. Do not practice Halloween. Let's continue. "Or a soothsayer, or one who interprets omens, or a sorcerer, or one who conjures up spells." A soothsayer is a person who is supposed to be able to foresee the future and an observer of times. Druids were soothsayers and they interpret omens, and they were sorcerers and they conjure up spells. They did rituals to Baal and Samhain in order for them to see the future. Witches cast spells and use tarot cards and speak into crystals and read your palm to see the future and interpret omens. Let's continue. Or a medium or a spiritist or one who calls up the dead. Other translations say a charmer or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard or a necromancer. A medium is a psychic. They talk to spirits and practice telepathy. A spiritist is a person that talks to spirits, jinns. A consultant with familiar spirits is the same thing. We explained that already in an example of a black cat. Witches love talking to familiar spirits. Halloween is all about trying to communicate with the dead spirits. They display decorations and images of ghosts and death angels and all kinds of unclean, foul spirits. A wizard is a male witch, and a necromancer is a person who conjures up demons and dead spirits. Halloween is all about necromancy, dealing with dead spirits and demons and ghosts and jinns in the graveyard. The root word necro and necromancy means dead. Let's continue. For all that do these things are an abomination to the Lord, and because of these abominations, the Lord your God drives them out from before you. The culture of the Canaanites was a culture of magic and witchcraft and sacrificing their children to the fire of Molech, and the Most High drove them out of the land and gave it to the children of Israel under the condition that the children of Israel do not repeat these same customs. And here we are today. Our people have returned to practicing and celebrating and partaking in witchcraft and sorcery and necromancy. Proverbs 8:13. The fear of the Lord is to hate evil, pride and arrogance and the evil way, and the perverse mouth I hate. If you truly fear God, then you must hate evil and the evil day. Give all your fear to God, not to Satan on Halloween. 1 Thessalonians 5:22 says, abstain from all appearances of evil. We supposed to abstain from all appearances of evil. Stay away from it. And Halloween is all appearance of evil. So much evil demonic energy is hovering heavy in the air during this time of the year because of all the witches and warlocks and wizards casting their spells and sorcery. 1 Corinthians 10:21. You cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of demons. You cannot partake of the Lord's table and of the table of demons. Halloween is the table of demons. When the Catholic Church invaded Britain to convert the Celtic people to Catholicism, they allowed them to keep their tradition of Samhain under the name of All Hallows Eve or All Saints Day. Catholic means universal. They accept all. We ain't supposed to be universal accepting all. We supposed to be separate and set apart and be the opposite of the evildoers and the pagan rituals and customs of these evil, wicked, heathen nations. That's why many Christians today think Halloween is a Christian holiday. The word hallow means holy. The Roman Catholic Church tried to make Samhain a holy day, which leads to our next verse, Isaiah 5:20. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Today, people try to justify Halloween to call it a good kid-friendly event. They call evil good. They think that candy is sweet, but it is bitter to their souls. All kinds of undercover witches blow spells into that candy before they pass them out to the children. Look at Hansel and Gretel. Kids going out to the witch house for some candy and she ends up trying to eat them. 2 Corinthians 6:4. Do not be unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship has righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion has light with darkness? You cannot mix light and darkness. You cannot mix righteousness with unrighteousness. Let these witches have their holiday and we stay out the way. Stay inside a house or at work if you work third shift while the devils roam earth on Halloween. Do not partake in it or give your thought or energy to it. Exodus 22:18. You shall not permit a witch to live. The Creator doesn't even want witches to live. So stop giving life to their holiday. This is why the witch population in America increased by over 1 million since 1990. From 8,000 witches to 1.5 million witches. Because you keep sending your kids to go soak up the witch spells during Halloween and eat their candy so they could become future witches and future atheists and future pagan Satan worshipers. Ephesians 5:11. Take no part in the unfruitful works of darkness, but instead expose them. Take no part in Samhain, the Lord of darkness. We are supposed to expose them and wake people up and train up our child in the way they should go, and they will not depart from it. Proverbs 22:6 says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is older, he will not depart from it. Expose Halloween to your kids. Show them it's evil and Satan worship and God forbids it. And who cares about the candy and costumes? They ain't missing out on nothing but a ticket to the hellfire. Do not introduce your children to that lifestyle. Stop being weak parents. Stop letting your children rule over you and make decisions for you. Tell your schools, teachers, and staff that your child is not allowed to partake in class Halloween parties. Tell your schools, teachers, and staff they do not have your permission to give your child over to Satan, eating soul cakes and cookies and candy and all kinds of crap, and making decorations in school, Halloween decorations in school. Tell your school your kids ain't about to partake in that nonsense. You have 365 days out of the year to buy candy and treats for your child. You do not have to be a brainwashed sheep zombie to think you can only buy candy for your kids during the Halloween season. Wake up. Quran, Surah 66, Ayah 6 says, O believers, protect yourselves and your families from a fire whose fuel is people and stones, over which are appointed angels, harsh and severe. They do not disobey whatever Allah and what he commands them, but they do what they are commanded. The hellfire has harsh, severe angels ready to carry out the Creator's command of torturing and punishing you while you burn, baby, burn in the pit of fire. Let's make sure that we and our children don't go to that place by staying away from Satan and all these pagan festivities. You have a lot of rebellious mothers that will find an excuse or justification to continue to partake in Halloween because they don't want their kids to feel left out or miss out on the evil customs, the evil fun. They think just because their kids dress like a superhero or a princess, then it's okay since it's not evil costumes. The Messiah, who y'all call Jesus Christ, said in Matthew 10:37, anyone who loves his father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. Anyone who loves your son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And many of you mothers, you love your kids more than you love the Messiah, to the point that you are giving in to your kids' pleas to partake in demon Halloween. 1 Peter 5:8 says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, walks about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. On Halloween night, while your kids are looking to devour candy, Satan is looking to devour their souls. If you don't pray, then the devils come to pray. 3 John 1:11, beloved, do not imitate evil, but imitate good. Whoever does good is from God. Whoever does evil has not seen God. Romans 12:21, do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Before we end this video, let's end with this verse. Ephesians 6:10. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God that you may be able to stand against the wiles, the schemes of the devil. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Therefore, take up the whole armor of God that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. We got to stand in the evil day and keep our protection of God over. Everything about Halloween is spiritual wickedness. Halloween is the evil day. We have to eliminate Halloween from the black community, from all communities, but I got to shine the spotlight on my people who are destroyed and following after the customs of the slave master. If you are white, then you're supposed to forbid the evil ways of your ancestors and be the opposite of them. I'm out, y'all. My next video, we will be destroying Thanksgiving again, then Christmas, then New Year's. I want y'all to go ahead and press like and subscribe so you don't miss out on my future videos, and hit that bell notification button so you can become notified when I do drop a new video. I want y'all to go ahead and share this with your loved ones. Stay away from evil. We are in the final days of America. Let's not partake in these British customs of evil and witchcraft in these end days before the nukes come to tear up Babylon America, who practices sorcery like her mother, ancient Babylon. We are not Celtic people, so stop falling after Massa. Stop falling after the ancestors' demonic holidays.